Today was going to be a big day for Selena. She was going to be one of them. And a little later, Selena continued to receive more items in her home. From a distance, Dolan felt happy that his plan had worked. However, since the goddess Miri had helped him with the prophecy, he just wanted to meet her again to thank her for her help that day. With that in mind, as night fell, Dolan broke away from her body like a ghost. Rather than her physical form, it was her astral version that allowed her to head straight to the highest point in the sky, where she met her dragon form. This time, the goddess Morel was before her. The goddess found it strange to be called a god and joked with Dolan about how human she had become in such a short time. Dolan thanked Morel for her prophecy. If she hadn't lied at the time, they wouldn't have received Selena in their village. However, at the same time, it felt a little strange because after dying, he never expected Morel to find him transformed into an ordinary human. The goddess kindly confirmed that souls like hers were quite difficult to ignore. Dolan, with a gentle heart, admitted that she still didn't know how she could become human. On the day her body was pierced by a sword and she died, she was just waiting for the end. She didn't deny that being reborn as a human wasn't all bad. She'd learned that there were humans who, despite facing hardships, lived vigorously and happily with very little. Dolan explained that their lives were indeed shorter than those of heavenly beings, but they shone just as brightly as the gods. Morel saw that Dolan was absolutely radiant in that moment. She could see that his heart and soul were brimming with happiness and hope. The goddess told her that this wasn't just a message for her, but for the Lamia she'd saved too, who was glowing in the same way. In an instant, the goddess appeared in her human form, while Selena, without knocking, opened the door to wake Dolan. The rooster had been crowing for some time, so Selena thought it was time to get up. At the same time, Selena realized that she could have opened the door and accidentally seen something inappropriate. But Dolan was already awake and he calmed her down by saying that he was just dreaming about an old friend who said beautiful things to him and that made him very happy. Selena reminds her that today is an important day because she promised to plant potatoes with Christina, who is already waiting outside enthusiastically to get started. Meanwhile, in town, we see a huge castle, the home of a one-of-a-kind woman who even has fairies cleaning her books. Her secretary seems really happy to give her messages, and one of them is a letter from Christina, who is the pride of the entire town. So, the unique woman with a little bit of magic opened the letter and read it right away. In the letter, which was addressed to Director Olivia, Christina said that she wasn't completely happy with the extreme weather in the northern part of Galoa. But at the same time, that was one of the reasons why all the citizens practiced every day. Even though it was just a practice match, everyone could see that the vice-captain was really struggling, which made her feel a bit uncomfortable. Although Christina herself asked not to be taken lightly, Marita did not hesitate to act seriously and end the fight with Christina in one blow. However, she failed, and in the end the victory went to the white-haired woman who, with better sword skills, won the audience's attention and earned Marita's respect for daring to challenge her. Christina still praised that Marita fought very well, enough to make the vice-captain blush slightly. What a lovely moment! Marita invited Christina to have lunch with them, and with the captain's support, she was quickly welcomed. In her letter, Christina was really excited to tell me all about how, even though the place was far away, the people there were so happy and welcoming. Even at night, she was welcomed with a banquet by the village chefs, who couldn't take their eyes off her because of her beauty. Balan even offered her a small drinking contest with alcohol to see who could drink the most, although her colleagues advised against it as the captain was a very skilled drinker. Christina had always wanted to say yes, but was still too shy. That night, after getting a cozy room to rest, Christina saw Captain Balloon ending his drinking session. As such, she decided to practice a little more outside the room under the moonlight. Later on, Dolan and Selena showed up after a nighttime walk and saw Christina looking a little down. Selena was really sweet and asked if something was wrong, but since Christina was still having trouble communicating, she didn't say anything. Selena immediately understood and took her friend's hand, inviting her to spend the night at home. When they arrived, Selena showed Christina her bed, her favorite part of the house. It helped her dream about beautiful things, and Selena thought Christina would love it too. This makes Christina realize that Lamia have different beds than humans, which is really interesting. Even though the bed is different, Selena kindly offers Christina the chance to try it for a while. Dolan reminds his friend that this bed might not be very comfortable for humans, which makes Selena a little sad. But Christina lies down on it anyway, and after trying out the pillows, she says it's incredibly comfortable for any creature. Selena says the bed and the house are thanks to Dolan, who really helped her feel welcome in the village despite being of a different species. Everything was just fine, but the longer Selena stayed in the village, the happier she felt. She liked the people more and more. She also told Christina that Balan liked to drink his wife's milk. In fact, the villagers even competed in a local tournament to see who could drink the most. Christina suddenly understood why the captain wanted to compete with her. Selena also told Christina that Dolan's brother is an amazing fisherman. He even caught a giant fish not long ago and shared it with the whole family. Dolan added that it wasn't just his brother or the captain who had special abilities. The rest of the villagers were also good at something. You just need to get to know them better, like Marita, who despite being the vice captain, has a sweet tooth. Before moving on, Selena playfully asked Dolan what he was doing just standing there. They both gave him a good throw on the bed to see how comfortable it was, and they laughed together. Who knows what they did next? The next day, the villagers gathered with great anticipation to try Muse's milk. This was another open challenge with Balan to see who could drink more milk from her. At that moment, Christina arrived with Selena and was greeted with warm smiles by the villagers. Christina confessed that she had come to try the milk that Balan often brags about. His wife was quick to bring some for Christina, and after just one sip, Christina was delighted to find the milk absolutely delicious, which made Muse very happy indeed. These words were taken as a challenge by the captain, who heard of a potential competitor in his own home. When Christina confirmed that she was the one who drank the most in the village, the competition began with many rounds served that day, until Balan almost passed out from drinking too much. In the end, Christina was the winner of the day with a smile on her face. Even after winning, Dolan was really worried about Christina. He wanted to make sure she was okay after drinking so much milk and defeating the strong captain. At that moment, Mir appeared and asked if Christina had time to taste her milk for the first time. Seeing that her husband was already exhausted, she thought it was better not to bother him for a while, so Christina took a big gulp of the milk to check its quality and again gave her approval as it tasted sweeter than the last time, making it taste delicious. This made Mir very happy and she hugged Christina happily. As she's finishing up the letter, Olivia reads that it seems Baran is starting to win a place in Christina's heart. Meanwhile, a guest arrived and Olivia, who was enjoying a lovely dinner, suddenly found herself at a very important party. From a distance, she heard everyone chatting about how Christina had made a new friend, Alia. Some people were a little worried that Alia might be dangerous, but Olivia reassured them that she was just a lovely girl. She also told Kieran, who was keen to find out more about the Lamia, that Christina was perfectly safe. After all, Alia was just a friend, and there had been a spate of missing persons in the city recently. It was important to keep an eye on Christina, but there was no need to worry. However, the principal was quick to reassure her that there was absolutely nothing to worry about. According to her students, the Lamia was actually a very friendly creature, and Goddess Mirari's prophecy had asked the villagers to live in peace with her. Despite this, Kieran was determined to save Christina from danger as quickly as possible. At that moment, a kind man who appeared to be the owner of the land assured her that he would leave immediately to protect the young girl from any harm. Let's go back to our lovely protagonists. They had just finished planting the potatoes, but Selena made the mistake of placing them too close together. However, when Selena ran over, Dolan kindly let her know that there was a bit of a problem and that they needed to head over to the city gate right away. The mayor was quick to hide Christina away. This was because the man previously seen, named was also the commissioner of the northern border along with his soldiers. He was curious about why Dolan had brought Alia to the king's holy land. Before Dolan could speak, the priest gently reminded that the Mirari prophecy had blessed them with the young girl's presence. However, it seemed that the elderly wasn't fully convinced and just wanted to remove the threat before it could cause harm. Dolan gently reminds the old man that the goddess word is more than enough in this matter. However, De insists that if Alia wants to stay in this land, she'll have to appear before the general, who'll decide whether she's dangerous or not. After all, the law is the priority in this world. As the party responsible for bringing her, Dolan wants to come along, and De doesn't mind, as they might want to talk to him as well. As the sun started to set, the townspeople noticed that their friends were being taken away. Christina thought it would be a good idea to talk to the headmaster about the matter, since he has some influence. Summoning the power of the wind, Christina began to run as fast as she could towards her destination. As time passed on the train, Selena seemed to calm down a bit, but she was still feeling rather cold. Thankfully, she was allowed to use her blanket. Selena also realized that she was feeling rather sad for having caused so much trouble that day. Luckily, she had learned how to give hugs from Dolan's mom, and she used them throughout the ride to calm herself down. Afterwards, we see Christina arrive in the royal capital, where she enjoys a lovely cup of tea with Olivia. Olivia explained that, since Selena had the goddess blessing, nothing bad would happen to her. However, the real reason for taking her is the blessing of Ken, a government general who plans to blame Selena for the missing persons cases in the kingdom. Although they are far away, with a soldier waking Selena up in the middle of the night, we can imagine the worst that could happen.